There's a Ben Nemtin quote. He created the Buried Life, which was an MTV show that Yes Theory was inspired by.
Yeah.
And he talks about dream jobs are actually the best jobs to pursue because they're the least competitive. Whereas like to me and you, they feel so competitive because we're like seeing all these YouTubers, seeing all these people.
Because we're in that space.
Because we're in this space, so
much more focused.
It feels so competitive.
Yeah.
But and to be fair, YouTube might be. YouTube might be because so many, like, it's the number one job that kids want to be. But in reality, like, if you take either my college, SDSU, or you college, UCSD, like, we're in the less than 1%. Like, 99% of the people who had some sort of dream job, whether it be a YouTuber, be an actor, be a musician, are just gave up on it and are getting a degree. And it's so funny because we talk about degree jobs as if they're like the least competitive. Do the safe thing, get a degree, do this. When we talk about it, like, it's the safe thing, but it's the most competitive. It's what everyone's being filtered. Everyone's being filtered to get a business degree. Everyone's being filtered to do this. And then you guys so 99% of kids our age will go to a college. 99% or whatever, 75% of those people will get a degree, and then all those people will fight over the same jobs. Yet we act like that's the safe route when our job is actually much less competitive. But it just doesn't feel that way because like society has labeled it. It's like this is such. I hope it's making sense to you.
I know. I this makes sense. I've thought about this too, and I heard this. It wasn't labeled as, you know, how you put it earlier. But like I've definitely heard this conversation before, and I definitely see in all my friends, like, why is it that the safe job, right? Even if I get the degree that I'm pursuing right now, like, I'm not going to be able to get this job. Like, I cannot. I actually cannot, because one, I don't have a portfolio for it, and two, so many people are going to be going for that job, right? And it's even more competitive for like all my friends who are like computer science majors and are going for like the software engineer job. Like, those are the most competitive. You are legitimately just a number to these companies. Like, you're not a person to them. You are just number 552 in the application pool. Like, that's it. And you know, it's gonna be decided like that whether or not you're gonna get an interview or not. And even when you get an interview, you still got like 12 more rounds to go through, and it's like, that's considered safe. You're right. Like, that's considered the safe job. That's a safe route. Like, get a degree, get a job. But holy, like,
I mean, if you want to add another layer to it, it's like, all right, AI is clearly rapidly advancing. It's like, do you think? I'm not going to be so naive to say AI is not going to affect the podcasting industry. It certainly is. It's already cutting clips and it's doing edits, but it's like, what do you think is going to get automated faster? A job that lives on a computer in Google Sheets, or creative work that's like, where it's like, I'm really trying to position myself with soul wealth, because I don't think AI is going to be teaching soul wealth.
Right.
I don't.
Exactly.
This is what I know about AI.
Okay.
This is what I know about AI.
Okay.
I can't tell you what AI is going to fix and what's not going to fix, but I know that since the dawn of AI, loneliness has gotten worse, depression has gotten worse, and community's gotten worse. So if I can stay in loneliness, depression, community, mental health, if I can stay in an area where I really believe soul wealth helps us things, then I don't think my job will get automated. But it's like, take it, what you said and what we said was already true about the degrees. Is like, we act like they're so safe, but they're not. And then if you add the layer of like, what's possibly going to get automated, it's like, I'm sure that stuff's going to get automated before like community building and creative work. So it's like, it's even less safe if you go from that angle. And that's just like, there's just so many layers to that. I also think like what you're saying with portfolios, it's like we're growing up in an age where, for a number of reasons, I think college is more valuable to our parents. I think any asset, the less you have of any asset, the more it's worth. That's why, like, the more dollars you have, the less they're worth.
Right.
And so it's like, just by inherentness, there was less degrees when it was more rare to go to college when our parents were. There's more degrees than have ever existed. So inherently, they're worth less than they've ever been. And there's only going to be more and more and more. And so that's like an interesting thing too. But the whole like when our parents were older, like their degree made them stand out because everyone didn't have one, and especially from prestigious schools. But now it's like everyone's being so funneled into getting one that they're worth less and less and less. And our parents didn't have iPhones to cheat. Now kids have iPhones to cheat. Now they have ChatGPT to write their essays. ChatGPT to write their essays. They have computers to cheat, iPhones to cheat. They're going to have AIs to cheat. And it's like, if employers are not going to notice this, and they're just going to say, I assume everyone who got a degree did it perfectly, justfully, and they did it. Well, they're going to be screwing themselves because they're going to end up hiring people because of their GPA and their degree. And those people are not going to be the best problem solvers. They're not going to be the best workers. They're just going to be the best cheaters. And so it's like, and I'm like, and I can say this because I'm a dropout, and I know you probably can't say this. I encourage cheating because that's the real world. It's finding a solution to your problem. But it's like, if employers continue to hire solely based on degrees and GPAs, they're setting themselves up for failure. And I think that's why portfolios and resumes are going to become all the more popular. And then it's like, I always tell people this, like I walked into a marketing company 2 years ago, and I wanted them to sponsor a short film I wanted to make. And they didn't sponsor it, but they gave me a job. And I ended up working for this marketing company, and I did marketing for Dyson, for Supercell, for like all these big companies. And I was like, dude, if I were to go I know so many students at SDSU who got a marketing degree. And I'm like, if I were to try to get a marketing job in San Diego, and they were to try to get a marketing job in San Diego, I think I would stand out because they all have the same degree. So they have a piece of paper that says I'm the same as all the other applicants.
Right.
But I could say, hey, I don't have the degree, but I've worked with Dyson. I've worked with Supercell. Here's my portfolio. Here's the things I've done. I've run a campaign. And it's like, I don't, like, to me, it makes so much more sense that I'm the more valuable candidate.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, I was going to say, like, I think even more so than that, like those are very valuable too. It's the story. It's the fact that you just walked in.
Yeah.
Like, you were originally trying to, get funding, and, then they sort of like, no, we'll just give you a job. Like, I think that story in itself makes you stand out even more.
Yeah.
All these people have the same story. I went to college, got a degree, got the piece of paper, right? But you can say you got the portfolio, you work for these companies, and I managed to get these experiences because I just walked in and,
That's so.
I thought that one was crazy. That one was like, whoa, that's so cool.
Bro, stories are so big. Even if you think about like Chris Duncan sneaking into Forbes. Yeah. His goal is to get a job at Forbes. He didn't get one, but Inc. magazine was like, they heard the story and they're like, we want to hire you. So, story is so big, and school in a way does train us to have like a less cool story. It's a lot harder to, and I actually like. I think dropping out is too glorified, and that's coming from a dropout. I think a lot of times we talk about dropping out as if it's the solution.
Right.
And the reason we do that is because we hear these stories from people who have already, quote unquote, made it, who have huge money or huge followings, and they tell their story of dropping out, and it's almost always the pivot point.
Right.
So we look at dropping out as like, that is my solution.
This is it.
But it's never the solution. Dropping out is just one decision in many that helps you get to where you want to be. And everyone I know who's ever dropped out, it was not how they had it dream written up in their head. And so as much as I'm for dropping out and for not going to school, I don't think it should be glorified.
Yeah.
Because it's just one more decision that helps you get to where you want to be.
Right.
It's not a solution.
Yeah. Because everyone that dropped out, like, they had a plan. They had something going on, right? Like it wasn't a senseless dropping out. It was like, it was meticulous. There was planning. There was thought. There was deep conversation about it before making that decision.
I think even more so, it's not that like, it's that your plan never goes to plan. Like,
right.
You don't. Like, people like for me, it was like, I'm going to drop out and all the time I'm spending on school, I'm going to spend on my videos and therefore I will be successful. But when I dropped out, I didn't have any friends to be in my videos, and I realized I'm not passionate about creating alone. So I sat in a rut for like 6 months. The first 6 months after I dropped out was the least videos I ever made, and it was the most time I ever had to make videos. But then I was like, all right, I found this podcast, and over time, I never knew I wanted to be a podcaster. And I don't even know. Maybe podcasting won't be what I'll do, but like, it's like it never looks exactly like how you think it's gonna look. You know? And that's just an interesting thing.